surprised us somewhat, since it's not uncommon to hear complaints that so-and-so didn't listen. He just jumped in and tried to solve the problem. Perhaps what the data is telling us is that making suggestions is not in itself the problem. It may be the skill with which those suggestions are made. Another possibility is that we're more likely to accept suggestions from people we already think are good listeners. Someone who is silent for the whole conversation and then jumps in with a suggestion may not be seen as credible. Someone who seems combative or critical and then tries to give advice may not be seen as trustworthy. While many of us have thought of being a good listener as being like a sponge that accurately absorbs what the other person is saying, what these findings show instead is that good listeners are like trampolines. They are someone you can bounce ideas off of, and rather than absorbing your ideas and energy, they amplify, energize, and clarify your thinking. They make you feel better not by merely passively absorbing, but by actively supporting. This lets you gain energy and height, just like someone jumping on a trampoline. Of course, there are different levels of listening. Not every conversation requires the highest levels, but many conversations would benefit from greater focus and listening skill. Consider which level of listening you'd like to aim for. Level 1. The listener creates a safe environment in which difficult, complex, or emotional issues can be discussed. Level 2. The listener clears away distractions like phones and laptops, focusing attention on the other person and making appropriate eye contact. This behavior not only affects how you are perceived as the listener, it immediately influences the listener's own attitudes and inner feelings. Acting the part changes how you feel inside. This, in turn, makes you a better listener. Level 3. The listener seeks to understand the substance of what the other person is saying. They capture ideas, ask questions, and restate issues to confirm that their understanding is correct. Level 4. The listener observes nonverbal cues, such as facial expressions, perspiration, respiration rates, gestures, posture, and numerous other subtle body language signals. It is estimated that 80% of what we communicate comes from these signals. It sounds strange to some, but you listen with your eyes as well as your ears. Level 5. The listener increasingly understands the other person's emotions and feelings about the topic at hand and identifies and acknowledges them. The listener empathizes with and validates those feelings in a supportive, non-judgmental way. Level 6. The listener asks questions that clarify assumptions the other person holds and helps the other person see the issue in a new light. This could include the listener injecting some thoughts and ideas about the topic that could be useful to the other person. However, good listeners never hijack the conversation so that they or their issues become the subject of the discussion. Each of these levels builds on the others. Thus, if you've been criticized, for example, for offering solutions rather than listening, it may mean you need to attend to some of the other levels, such as clearing away distractions or empathizing, before your proffered suggestions can be appreciated. We suspect that in being a good listener, most of us are more likely to stop short rather than go too far. Our hope is that this research will help by providing a new perspective on listening. We hope those who labor under an illusion of superiority about their listening skills will see where they really stand. We also hope the common perception that good listening is mainly about acting like an absorbent sponge will wane. Finally, we hope all will see that the highest and best form of listening comes in playing the same role for the other person that a trampoline plays for a child. It gives energy, acceleration, height,